There comes a moment in life when your soul feels unsettled. You can't quite explain it, but deep down, you know something inside you is shifting. Chosen one, that restlessness you feel isn't random. It is divine. It's the hand of God rearranging the pieces of your destiny, preparing you for something greater than you have ever known. Many people confuse this restlessness with dissatisfaction, but the truth is, it's the evidence of transformation knocking at your door. Just as a seed must break apart before it grows into a tree, your spirit is breaking through the shell of the old you, reaching for the light of a new season. Think about it. How many times have you tried to stay comfortable but life kept nudging you out of your safe space? That's because you're not designed to remain ordinary. God planted eternity in your heart, and eternity cannot be contained by temporary comforts. That stirring is heaven's whisper saying, "Get ready, something new is about to be birthed in you." On Anointed Era, we believe these moments are not coincidences. They are prophetic markers of destiny. If this resonates with you, pause for a second and recognize that you're standing at the threshold of divine transformation. Your restlessness is proof you are evolving. You are not who you were yesterday, and you won't be the same tomorrow. This message will help you see the signs, understand the process, and embrace the identity God has prepared for you. Restlessness is often a spiritual alarm clock. When God is moving you into a higher dimension, He will not allow you to stay too comfortable in the old one. It's why you can be surrounded by people, opportunities, and even success, yet still feel unsatisfied. That feeling is not a curse, it's a blessing. It's your spirit rejecting stagnation. Just like a bird in a too small cage begins to flutter restlessly, your soul begins to resist when it outgrows an old environment. Many of you are sensing this right now. You've outgrown certain relationships, habits, and even mindsets. Science tells us that growth in the brain often comes with discomfort. When new neural pathways are being formed, the old ones must be challenged. Spiritually, it's the same. Your old patterns of thinking, behaving, and believing are being shaken because God is creating new ones. Chosen one, that's why you feel different. That's why you don't laugh at what you used to laugh at, and why certain conversations no longer hold your interest. It's not arrogance, it's elevation. On Anointed Era, we see this as heaven's way of saying, "You've stayed here long enough. It's time to move." Restlessness is a holy invitation. It's God's way of shifting your posture toward the next chapter. Instead of fighting it, embrace it. Transformation is not instant, it's a process. Think about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't wake up one morning with wings. It enters a dark, confined cocoon where change happens silently. In the same way, God often hides you while He is transforming you. This process can feel lonely, confusing, and even painful at times. You may feel forgotten, but the truth is, you are being developed. Chosen one, God is more interested in your becoming than your arriving. That is why He allows the process to shape you before the promise appears. Consider biblical examples. David was anointed king as a boy, yet he spent years tending sheep before stepping into the palace. Joseph dreamed of greatness, but he endured betrayal, slavery, and prison before reaching Pharaoh's court. Their journeys show us that the process is not punishment, it's preparation. In fact, the very struggles you're facing now are proof that you're being trained for something greater. On Anointed Era, we often remind our family that God doesn't waste pain. Every challenge is a classroom, every delay is a divine setup, and every closed door is guiding you toward your true calling. So don't despise your process. It may not feel glamorous, but it is sacred. You are not just going through life, you are growing through life. One of the clearest signs that God is transforming you is that what once satisfied you no longer does. The movies you used to enjoy now feel empty. The conversations you once entertained now drain you. Even the people you once ran to for comfort now feel like strangers. This isn't because you've changed for the worse. It's because God is elevating your spiritual appetite. He's removing the taste for temporary things and giving you a hunger for eternal ones. This inner shift is a strong indicator that your spirit is aligning with His plan. Another sign is the resistance you've been facing. Chosen one, transformation rarely comes without opposition. Just as muscles only grow when they are stretched and challenged, your faith only grows when tested. If you've been experiencing pushback at work, in relationships, or even in your thoughts, it could be a sign that you are in transition. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't a threat. The fact that you're under pressure is confirmation that you're carrying something powerful. On Anointed Era, we remind you, pressure is often the final stage before breakthrough. So if you've been feeling out of place, restless, or even attacked, take heart. These are not signs of failure. They're evidence that your transformation is already underway. Transformation is not something you do alone. It's a partnership with heaven. God initiates the process, but you have a role in cooperating with it. Think of it like sailing. You cannot control the wind, but you can set your sails to catch it. Prayer, fasting, obedience, and surrender are the sails that align you with the Spirit's wind. The more you lean into God's presence, the faster you move into the fullness of your calling. Without surrender, you delay destiny. With surrender, you accelerate it. Partnering with heaven also means letting go of what no longer serves your growth. You cannot hold on to Egypt while stepping into the promised land. Many of us struggle here because letting go feels like loss. But in truth, it's making room for greater. Promotion in the kingdom always requires movement, and movement requires disruption. Before God elevates you, He shakes what feels stable so that you won't settle. This is why you may suddenly feel discomfort in places you once felt safe. It's not because God wants to punish you, it's because He's preparing to promote you. Think about a mother eagle. When her eaglets are ready to fly, she stirs up the nest, removing the soft padding so the young birds won't get too comfortable. Why? Because if they stay in the nest, they'll never discover their wings. Your comfort zone may feel safe, but it can also become a cage. The shaking you're experiencing right now is not random, it's intentional. God is stirring your nest. The job loss, the unexpected move, the change in relationships, these aren't accidents, they're divine strategies to get you moving. On Anointed Era, we've seen countless testimonies where people thought they lost something, only to realize later it was the push they needed to discover their greater purpose. So don't fear the shaking. Instead, ask, Lord, what are you preparing me for? The shaking is proof that promotion is on the horizon. Some of the most powerful moments of transformation happen in silence, far from the eyes of others. It is in those quiet seasons where it feels like nothing is happening that God is doing His deepest work. The silence is not absence, it is sacred preparation. When nothing seems to move on the surface, the roots are growing stronger beneath the soil. Just as seeds must remain hidden underground before breaking forth into life, your hidden seasons are building the strength you'll need for the days ahead. Many people misinterpret silence as rejection, but it is often God's shield. He protects you from premature exposure because premature exposure can destroy what is not yet ready. You may not see the progress day to day, but transformation is happening in ways you cannot yet perceive. The hidden work is the foundation of the public calling. When God finally reveals you, the fruit will be undeniable. That fruit will only stand firm because of the deep, unseen work already completed within you. Transformation always involves release. Old patterns of thought, behavior, and living cannot remain when new life is forming. Sometimes this breaking away feels like loss, but it is actually liberation. When God calls you higher, He severs ties with things that would hold you back. The shedding may sting, but it clears the way for a greater version of yourself to emerge. Consider how a snake must shed its skin in order to grow. The old skin becomes restrictive, and the shedding is uncomfortable, but it is necessary for survival. Likewise, old ways of thinking and responding that once served you become constricting when you step into a higher season. Letting them go is not punishment, it's progress. Each layer that falls away brings you closer to walking in freedom and authenticity. The release makes room for the person God is shaping you to become. Destiny carries a weight. It demands a level of strength and resilience that cannot be developed without preparation. Just as an athlete trains with heavy resistance to perform at their peak, God allows resistance in your journey to strengthen you for the responsibilities ahead. Without this preparation, the very blessing meant to elevate you could become too heavy to carry. Every delay, challenge, and obstacle is part of your training. It teaches patience, sharpens discernment, and builds spiritual muscles. This weight is not a burden, it is an investment into your capacity. You are being stretched to hold more, to handle more, and to influence more. What feels heavy now is preparing you to stand tall when your destiny is revealed. The strength you gain in the struggle ensures you will not break when the promise arrives. Transformation often requires separation. When God begins to work on you, He may pull you away from familiar crowds and comfortable relationships. This isolation is not rejection, it is refinement. Solitude gives space for clarity, healing, and deeper intimacy with God. In the quiet of separation, distractions fade and your true identity begins to emerge. Many of the greatest figures in history and scripture experienced lonely seasons before stepping into greatness. In their solitude, they learned to depend on God alone. These seasons strip away the noise and force you to face what lies within. Though it can feel painful, loneliness is often the crucible where character is forged. When you look back, you'll realize that what felt like abandonment was actually sacred protection, shaping you into the vessel you were always meant to be. After every trial, every season of silence, and every moment of breaking away, something new emerges. This emergence carries a beauty that only comes from surviving the process. Like gold refined in fire, you step out brighter, stronger, and purer than before. What once would have broken you no longer has the same power, because the fire has forged resilience in your spirit. The beauty is not just in the final result, but in the journey itself. Every scar tells a story of strength. Every lesson carved into your soul becomes wisdom for the road ahead. The process creates a depth that cannot be manufactured, it can only be lived. When you emerge, it is not as the person you once were, but as the transformed soul prepared for greater things. The beauty of the journey will shine through you as undeniable evidence of growth. Life often teaches us to wear masks, identities built from expectation, rejection, or survival. These false layers may have helped in a past season, but they cannot go with you into transformation. God, in His wisdom, allows experiences that strip away these coverings until only your true self remains. Though uncomfortable, this unmasking is necessary for you to live authentically and powerfully. Think about clay in the hands of a potter. To reshape it, the potter first presses and flattens, removing the old form before molding it anew. Transformation requires this same dismantling of what was never truly you. Old labels, imposed roles, and false identities break away so the real you, pure, unfiltered, and aligned with your divine design, can be revealed. When the false layers fall, what remains is your truest self, free from the weight of who you were never meant to be. Fire has always been a symbol of purification. In the natural, fire burns away impurities in gold, leaving it more valuable and radiant. Spiritually, the refining fire removes what is unnecessary, destructive, or temporary. These fiery seasons test your patience, faith, and endurance, but they also prove your strength and reveal your purity. The moments when life feels hottest, when pressure is relentless and trials seem endless, are often when you are being refined the most. In the fire, your character is strengthened, your motives are purified, and your priorities are rearranged. Though you may feel consumed, the truth is that only the unnecessary parts are burning away. The real you, the stronger you, remains. Every fire you endure leaves you more radiant, more resilient, and more aligned with your purpose. Transformation always leads to uncharted territory. The familiar gives way to the unknown, and stepping into this newness requires courage. Though the road ahead may not be fully clear, the journey itself builds trust and faith. The unknown is not a void, it is a canvas for destiny to unfold. Embracing the unknown requires letting go of control and leaning into the unfolding process. Growth doesn't happen in certainty, but in trust. Every step forward reveals more of the path, and though the full picture may not yet be visible, the progress is undeniable. What once seemed terrifying becomes exciting as your confidence in the process grows. The unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace, for it holds the future that transformation has prepared you for. Sometimes before something can be built, it must first be broken. Old foundations, if weak or unstable, cannot support the weight of what is coming. Breaking is painful, but it is purposeful. It clears away the fragile so something lasting can be constructed. Transformation often begins with this breaking stage, where familiar structures collapse to make way for stronger ones. Think of a house renovation. Walls are torn down, floors are ripped up, and old fixtures are removed before the new design takes shape. In life, the breaking may look like lost opportunities, failed plans, or endings you didn't expect. Yet beneath the rubble lies the promise of something sturdier and more beautiful being built. Every breaking is a prelude to building, and what is being constructed in you will stand firm through the storms of life. One of the greatest evidences of transformation is a new perspective. What once looked like failure begins to look like a lesson. What once felt like rejection begins to look like redirection. Transformation doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your vision. You begin to interpret life not through fear but through clarity and purpose. This shift in perspective alters how you respond to people, opportunities, and challenges. Instead of reacting from pain, you respond from wisdom. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you recognize what it taught you. The lens of transformation filters everything differently, turning bitterness into gratitude and setbacks into stepping stones. Once your vision changes, life itself looks new. What was once a burden now appears as a blessing in disguise. One of the hardest parts of transformation is waiting for the right timing. Growth does not happen overnight. Just as seasons in nature unfold slowly, your spiritual seasons unfold according to divine timing. The waiting often feels heavy because you can sense what's coming, yet it hasn't fully arrived. But this delay is not denial, it is alignment. Timing ensures that when you step into your new season, everything around you is prepared to receive it. Patience during transformation is a test of trust. Rushing ahead can destroy what was meant to flourish, just as pulling fruit from a tree before it ripens leaves it bitter. Transformation asks you to trust that the unseen progress is just as important as what you're hoping to see manifest. The waiting seasons refine your endurance, polish your character, and build your faith in ways that rushing never could. The patience you cultivate now will make the fulfillment of your destiny even sweeter when it arrives. Transformation often demands courage, the courage to walk away from people, places, and things that no longer align with who you're becoming. This is not an act of arrogance but of obedience. Staying in environments that restrict growth eventually suffocates the new life within you. Walking away takes strength, but it also creates space for new alignments that nurture your destiny. Think about a plant that outgrows its pot. If it stays confined, it will wither, but if transplanted into fresh soil, it will thrive. In the same way, your courage to step away from what no longer serves you is what allows the next level of your growth to take root. Though leaving behind the familiar can be painful, it is often the very act that opens the door to greater purpose. Every step away from the old creates space for the new to blossom. Transformation requires resilience, the ability to bend but not break under pressure. Challenges will come, storms will rage, and obstacles will rise, but resilience keeps you standing when everything else pushes against you. This strength is not born in moments of ease, but in moments of trial. Every time you rise after falling, your spirit becomes stronger. Resilience is also contagious. The way you endure inspires others who watch your journey. When people see you continue despite setbacks, they realize it's possible for them too. Your resilience becomes a testimony of hope. It says, I may have been knocked down, but I refuse to stay there. This spirit is what carries you through the valleys into the mountains of destiny. With resilience in your heart, no storm can fully destroy what has been planted inside you. At the end of the process, transformation doesn't just change how you feel, it changes who you are. You no longer respond as the person you once were. Your mindset, your values, and your outlook shift. The struggles that once defined you no longer control you because you have become someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with purpose. This new identity is not an imitation of others. It is the fullest version of yourself. It is the unveiling of the person you were always meant to be. You walk differently, think differently, and even carry yourself with a confidence that comes from within. The transformation becomes visible to others because it radiates through your words, your actions, and your very presence. The new identity is the evidence that the process was worth it, and it marks the beginning of the next chapter of your destiny. Transformation always leads to a new season, and that season requires boldness. After all you've endured, all you've released, and all you've become, it is now time to step forward without fear. Boldness is the final expression of transformation. It is walking confidently into the unknown because you trust what the process has made you into. Stepping boldly means refusing to shrink back into old patterns, even when the new path feels intimidating. It is carrying the lessons of the past while embracing the opportunities of the present. Transformation equips you for this moment. You are no longer who you were, and you are finally ready to carry what is yours. This is the season to rise, to step forward, and to embrace fully the life that has been prepared for you. Chosen one, your journey has been one of breaking, reshaping, and rising again. Every restless night, every moment of silence, and every season of loss was never wasted. It was all part of the sacred transformation molding you into who you are today. You may not fully see it yet, but step by step, you've been evolving into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the destiny set before you. This process was not meant to destroy you, but to reveal you. The stripping away of old patterns, the refining fires of trial, and the weight of resilience have all prepared you for this moment. What once felt like the end has become the beginning of a new chapter. You are emerging with clarity, with strength, and with an identity that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Now is the time to walk boldly. The season of hiding has passed, and the season of stepping forward has arrived. You are no longer defined by the past. You are defined by the transformation that has shaped you. Step into your new season with confidence because you are not who you used to be. You are who you were always meant to become. If this message spoke to your spirit, don't leave without showing love. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this encouragement today. Your engagement helps spread these words to more chosen ones who are walking their own journey of transformation. Stay connected, stay encouraged, and remember, you are stepping into the best season of your life.